Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome into NBA Now. I'm your host, Harris Rubenstein. Who needs the NFL when the Basketball Association comes back in T-minus under 2 months? Preseason starts in 2 weeks. I'm so excited. We did our Western Conference projected rankings last week. This show, we are doing our Eastern Conference projected rankings. But first things first, let's get into the top news and rumors from across the NBA. Let's start with the Timberwolves. They have signed Luol Deng to a 1-year, $2.4 million deal. As we know, Luol Deng used to play for the Chicago Bulls under Tom Thibodeau, along with Derrick Rose and Taj Gibson, because the Timberwolves just enjoy signing former Chicago Bulls. Now, I wonder if Joakim Noah is next for the Minnesota Timberwolves, but this is very strange. Like, the Timberwolves are just signing a bunch of random veterans, but they won't bring back Jamal Crawford, who's probably the best veteran still on the market, but they're okay giving a veteran minimum to Luol Deng. So this is just kind of typical Timberwolves under Tom Thibodeau. It's been a very confusing experience, I would have to say, for everyone involved, especially for the fact that, Luol Deng hasn't played full-time basketball for 2 seasons now. 2 seasons. 2 seasons ago with the Lakers, he got injured. And then last year, they literally asked him to not play. They just said, please sit out this season. We don't want to play you. So he hasn't played for 2 seasons, but he's good enough to play for Tom Thibodeau's Timberwolves team. It's very strange. Best thing, though, about this Timberwolves team, except, turning into the 2012 Bulls, is that they have 3 players on their team with the name Deng. They have Luol Deng, they have Gorgui Deng, and they also have Deng Adele. So they have 3 Dengs on this team for the greatest Deng lineup that's ever been produced in the NBA. So watch out for the Timberwolves this year. They might just magically reincarnate into that old Derrick Rose Bulls team that ended up, winning the MVP for Rose. Couldn't quite make it all the way to the NBA Finals, but hey, it was a fun team for sure. I'm excited, though, for this Timberwolves team, mostly because Karl-Anthony Towns, he'll eventually sign his extension. You have to hope. But if he doesn't, it's going to be fun to see him kind of in a contract year, do the whole kind of, the whole free agency tour as he goes. Wiggins, though, they got to get something out of Wiggins this year. $25 million, that max deal officially kicks in this year. So if they want any hope of making it to any sort of Western Conference Finals this year, or hell, even to the playoffs, they need Andrew Wiggins to actually, step up and do what he can do this year. But let me know in the comments section below, are the Minnesota Timberwolves a playoff team? Give me a 1 for yes, give me a 2 for no. An interesting question. Playoff team last year, they came in as the 8th seed. They were playing really well all season long. They were a top 5 seed in the West for most of the season until Jimmy Butler went down. And if you look at my Western Conference projected rankings that we did last show, I have them coming in as my number 8 seed. So there is a big chance that they do end up making the playoffs. However, look, the bottom, not the bottom half of the West, but after about, the 6th seed with the Nuggets, it's a total toss-up who's going to make the playoffs. You have the Spurs, the Timberwolves, the Pelicans, the Trailblazers, the Mavericks, and the Clippers. 5 teams that could all easily make the 7 or 8 seed in the Western Conference. So we'll see what happens with the West going forward, and we'll see what happens with the Timberwolves. But for right now, I think they barely squeak in as the 8th seed. It's going to be really close at the bottom, though. Let's go to our next rumor, and this one put a big smile on my face because I love Andrew Bynum. Andrew Bynum is apparently planning an NBA comeback. Now, if you're wondering why you haven't heard Andrew Bynum's name in a while, it's because he's been out of the league for 4 years, which is weird because when he left the league, he was 26 years old. He's now 30 years old, and they released a workout tape of Andrew Bynum when he was going up against like a 5'10" fat guy, and he was just running up and down the court all the time, posting up against someone who's literally a foot shorter than he was. So not exactly an NBA tape that is going to get scouts salivating. But look, if Andrew Bynum really thinks he can make an NBA comeback, then all the power to him. The only issue is that his game is the complete opposite for what you want out of a modern-day NBA center. He can't shoot. He can't really pass. I don't really know what his defense is like anymore, and he was never really that great of a shot blocker overall. So you have this guy who is kind of a rim runner, but he's old and slow, and he's not fat anymore. Good for you, Andrew Bynum. Andrew Bynum actually looks in pretty good shape. He doesn't have the beer belly anymore. Though the last time we did see Andrew Bynum, he still had that crazy blonde afro. He doesn't seem to have it anymore, but that's kind of where the life of Andrew Bynum has kind of taken him since he's left the NBA. Let me know in the comment section below, would you sign Andrew Bynum? I would not, though talented 7-footers, if you can walk, talk, and chew bubblegum, as Jalen Rose likes to say, you'll find a little bit of time in the NBA. So we'll keep track of what goes on with Andrew Bynum. How funny would it be if he ended up back with the Lakers and LeBron James? That would be awesome. All right, let's move on to our next piece of news here. Devin Booker had wrist surgery yesterday. Surgery went well, no problems, no holdups. He's good to go. However, he is going to miss about 6 weeks. So he will be ready for the start of the season, though he will miss most of training camp. Interesting, though, Lena, because if you're Devin Booker, why didn't you get surgery in March when you got injured? Because he wanted that sweet, sweet money. There you go. Of course, Devin Booker waited to get surgery until after he signed his $150+ million NBA extension, because there's no way he was going to get it if he had gotten that surgery. So good for Devin Booker, and even better for Devin Booker's agent of being able to, kind of keep the Suns, kind of in limbo, waiting to see what happens with the surgery, but being able to get the bag first. That's crazy that they were able to convince the Suns to still give Booker that deal, knowing that surgery was impending. Great deal by Devin Booker's agent, but it'll be interesting to see what Booker's role is going to be in this Suns offense this year. Obviously, one of the better young shooting guards we have in the NBA. Kobe Bryant dubbed him the next Kobe Bryant, which I would never want to be dubbed the next Kobe Bryant. That is way too much pressure for any young player, but the Suns still don't have a point guard. We'll get to the Suns' point guard issues a little bit later, but they still don't have a point guard. So as of right now, Devin Booker is probably going to play some sort of pseudo James Harden point guard position where he's going to be the primary ball handler, but also the primary scorer. But he's not really that great of a passer, nor is Devin Booker a great defender. So I'm not sure what the Suns are really doing right now in their backcourt. They have Elliot Kobo, who they drafted in the second round, who, for whatever reason, they don't seem interested in starting at the point guard spot. But outside of him, they don't have a point guard. They don't have one. They got rid of Tyler Ulis, and they didn't draft another point guard. The only one they have on the roster is Elliot Kobo, and they traded away Brandon Knight. So very strange what's going on with this Suns team, but good for Devin Booker being able to get the bag before surgery. Again, he'll be ready for the start of the year. Not too good of news for the Minnesota Timberwolves, though, in terms of Karl-Anthony Towns. So Brian Windhorst was on ESPN yesterday, said, quote, "There's nothing happening right now between Karl-Anthony Towns and the Timberwolves in terms of an extension." Went on to say that it was eyebrow-raising, that nothing has gotten done so far. So we've heard from Tom Thibodeau a bunch this summer about this Karl-Anthony Towns extension, saying, we expect him to sign it, everything's going to be fine, winning's going to fix everything. There's something that we don't know right now. There's something going on. I don't know if it's between Jimmy Butler and Towns. I don't know if it's a Tom Thibodeau issue. I don't know if there's some sort of Wiggins thing going on here. There's something behind the scenes going on with this Minnesota Timberwolves team that is way worse than they're trying to let on. And I don't know if it has a lot to do with Jimmy Butler, because I think Karl-Anthony Towns knows that this is his team, and regardless of what Butler does, that the team revolves around Towns. But something's going on here, because this is, the third player that we've had, have issues so far with the Timberwolves. Wiggins, has been in the mix with Jimmy Butler. Butler's had his individual issues, and now Towns is having some issues as well. So you kind of have to start asking the question, will Karl-Anthony Towns be with the Timberwolves long term? And I remember saying this a couple months ago, that if I was the Los Angeles Lakers, I would not trade for Kawhi Leonard. I would trade for Karl-Anthony Towns, because you already have Kawhi Leonard, young Kawhi Leonard, or somebody who can turn into a Kawhi Leonard-like player, and Brandon Ingram. I'm not saying he's going to end up being a top 5 player in the NBA, but Brandon Ingram could turn into a player that's about 80% of what Kawhi Leonard can bring you. But they have no one on this team, no one on the Lakers roster that is anywhere close to what Karl-Anthony Towns brings you on the offensive side of the ball. The dude averages 23 and 12 at 22 years old. So Mo Wagner, he's not Karl-Anthony Towns. Kyle Kuzma doesn't play the same position as him. They don't really have anyone at the center spot who comes close to the talent level that Towns brings. Not to mention, if he's going to end up leaving, you likely won't have to give up that much in terms of a trade package, or you can just wait to sign him to a full max extension this offseason. I would absolutely give Karl-Anthony Towns a max if I'm the Lakers, if he's a free agent this offseason. So we'll keep track of Karl-Anthony Towns and his extension going forward with the T-Wolves. I would still expect him to sign that extension, just because it's tough to turn down $150 million plus. But if you're Karl-Anthony Towns, leaving Minnesota probably is pretty attractive to you, right? I mean, you're a young guy. You can make $150 million in Los Angeles playing with LeBron and the Lakers versus playing it in Minnesota where it's cold. I don't know. I don't know. Watch out for the Lakers with Karl-Anthony Towns. Though, again, $158 million is tough to turn down. It's also tough to turn down how great of a deal BetDSI is giving us here at Chat Sports and you, the viewers, as well. Chatsports.com/bet. Use our promo code LIVE120 for a 120% deposit bonus. Free money to wager on the NBA this season. Again, you deposit $100, you get $120 for free when you use the Live120 promo code. So again, go to chatsports.com/bet and use that promo code. Let's get into the craziest story of the week. I don't know if you guys have heard about this so far. If you haven't heard about this Jabari Bird story already, buckle up because this is crazy. So Jabari Bird is a guard for the Celtics, drafted in the second round last year. Finally got a fully guaranteed contract with the Celtics this year, 2-year deal. He is on the Celtics roster going into the season. However, that's probably not going to happen anymore, seeing as he allegedly choked and kidnapped his girlfriend in a domestic incident where Jabari Bird is now in police custody at the hospital. That is all the information we know right now, is that Jabari Bird allegedly choked and then kidnapped. And by the way, kidnapped doesn't necessarily mean he stole her from somewhere else. It means you can just trap someone in a place and not allow them to leave against their will. His own girlfriend in a domestic incident that basically police are saying that Jabari Bird just snapped. He is currently in the hospital for a mental evaluation. He just snapped and choked out his girlfriend and then wouldn't allow her to leave his apartment. Just what the hell? That is absolutely wild. We don't know the rest of the story because he's still in the hospital and the police can't release details of someone while they're still under hospital care. So as of right now, Jabari Bird is in police custody for kidnapping someone. That is wild. He just signed a fully guaranteed contract with the Celtics. This is a second-round pick. He was the 56th overall selection last year. Spent the entire season in the G League, and then he finally gets that fully guaranteed NBA contract, 2-year deal, and he kidnaps and chokes out his girlfriend. What is wrong with these guys? I can't even fathom where you have to be mentally in order to do that. Not only to a random person, let alone do it to your own girlfriend into the apartment that you share. I couldn't even do that. My girlfriend would kick my ass. I don't even know how he managed to do that. That's nuts to me. We'll have more info on this probably on Thursday when we do some more NBA segments, but holy cow. Jabari Bird, get your stuff together, man. That's not how you want your NBA career to, I guess, end. Didn't even start. So strange. Let's go to something else that's really strange. Rodney Hood signed his qualifying offer. If you're wondering why I say that's so strange, it's because Rodney Hood has been holding out in the Cleveland Cavaliers for months now, waiting for a 3-year deal. He wanted 3 years, $21 million from the Cavs. They wouldn't budge, so he signed a $3.4 million deal. Now, this is actually pretty good news if you're Rodney Hood. Not because you didn't get the bag, but because you've instantly become the best trade chip on the entire Cleveland Cavaliers roster by a considerable margin. $3.4 million deal for a young shooting guard who can give you buckets off the bench, or you can start him for, he averaged 16 points per game last year with the Utah Jazz. That's a pretty good player for $3.4 million. And if you're the Cleveland Cavaliers, that is exactly why they did not give him a long-term deal. Because they look at this roster, and I think they're starting to realize, oh crap, we gave Kevin Love another $150 million and can no longer trade him. We can't trade George Hill because he's getting paid $20 million this year. No one's taking J.R. Smith's contract. No one's taking Tristan Thompson's contract. The only player they have to trade on this whole team that they can get a legitimate return for is Rodney Hood if he ends up playing well. I don't even know if he's going to start for them right now. I still think they're going to start J.R. Smith because Tyronn Lue has an infatuation with J.R. Smith that I will never understand. But for now, Rodney Hood will be back on the Cavs team as the best trade chip on the entire roster. And again, that doesn't include Colin Sexton, who obviously the Cavs aren't going to trade because he's going to start at point guard for them. And no, as much as I do love Cedi Osman, Cedi Osman is not a better trade chip than Rodney Hood. But let me know in the comments section below, are the Cleveland Cavaliers a playoff team this year? Give me a Y for yes, give me an N for no. You guys will see later in my Eastern Conference projected rankings, I said no, and I was pretty adamant about it being a no. This team doesn't have enough talent on it, and like it's Kevin Love, guys. It's Kevin Love's team, and I just don't think that's going to be good for the Cavs in 2018. But give me a Y for yes, give me an N for no, live here on YouTube and live on Facebook as well. All right, let's move on here. The Suns are targeting Spencer Dinwiddie. So Dinwiddie is a guy who we brought up a couple weeks ago when talking about the Suns' top 5 targets at point guard. And not to brag or anything, but we have absolutely nailed the top 5 point guards for the Suns. Like, can we bring up our list of the top 5 point guards for the Suns? Because we originally predicted that they're going to go after Terry Rozier, they're going to go after Patrick Beverley, Spencer Dinwiddie, Kemba Walker, and we originally had George Hill, who we've now taken off the list because they called the Cavs, and the Cavs aren't interested in trading him. So we are 4 or 5 right now on the point guards that the Suns could trade for. The only one that we have on there that the Suns haven't reached out to right now is Kemba Walker, because I don't think they have a chance, nor do I think they want to actually spend that much money or spend as much capital as it would take to get Kemba Walker. But it just doesn't really make a lot of sense, does it? It doesn't make a lot of sense to have, you know, Devin Booker start a point guard for you when you sign Trevor Ariza. I mean, the projected lineup that we have for them right now is them starting three forwards, and Josh Jackson, Mikal Bridges, and Trevor Ariza. I mean, maybe they start DeAnthony Melton at one of the point guard spots, though it doesn't seem like they are too enthused about him starting at point guard. Elie Okobo, we talked about earlier, they don't seem too enthused about him either. So I'm not really sure what the Suns' plan are. I mean, I know that the Nets are interested in moving a couple pieces on their team. Maybe they, you know, give Spencer Dinwiddie the starting spot over D'Angelo Russell to kind of show him off, or maybe they look to trade D'Angelo Russell to the Suns. I mean, I don't even think that would be a bad idea. Devin Booker and D'Angelo Russell are best friends, so that wouldn't be a bad option. Maybe we'll add him to our top 5 list so far. But Suns still in the hunt for a starting point guard. As of right now, I can't really imagine, though, that they're going to get too much success. Starting point guards around the NBA right now are tough to come by. Teams are gripping on to their point guards right now. Let's get into a little LeBron James, Ben Simmons teaming up. They didn't team up in Philadelphia this summer, but they are teaming up for a new TV show. The TV show will be called Brotherly Love, and it will document Simmons' childhood in Australia as a sibling comedy show. I guess that'll be interesting. Though, credit to LeBron James and his Spring Hill Entertainment Company. They are pumping out every single kind of TV show imaginable. They have The Shop on HBO. They're having this Brotherly Love show that they're going to be putting out. They have a game show called The Wall on NBC. They're releasing multiple movies. LeBron just had a movie release where he's voicing a Yeti or something. LeBron's everywhere. You can't get enough of LeBron. We knew this was going to happen when he moved to LA. I just didn't expect it to move this quickly. LeBron is getting all of his TV deals done now. TV and movie deals for him and Maverick Carter are coming up fast. But the most important part of this, will you actually watch any of LeBron James's TV shows? I watched a couple commercials for The Wall, or whatever the hell it's called. I didn't like it. I thought it kind of looked dumb. I can't really imagine what Brotherly Love is going to look like either. Doesn't also sound that entertaining either. And then The Shop is pretty good. I like The Shop, and that's probably the most LeBron James involved show that he has. So I don't know. LeBron's got a long way to go as an entertainment provider, but let me know in the comment section below if you guys are going to watch any of LeBron James's shows as they continue to be released. One thing you guys should definitely do is go get yourself a Mizzen and Main shirt. If you're wondering why I look so good on camera, it's not because of my fresh haircut. It's not because of my beautiful smile. It's because of my Mizzen and Main shirt, and it's just so comfortable that it constantly puts that smile on my face. www.comfortable.af for the most comfortable dress shirt you will find anywhere. Not even close. 1,000,000 to 1. Best dress shirt that you will find anywhere. Get them today at comfortable.af because these shirts are comfortable as F. Let's get into our last piece of news here. Sasha Vujacic is back. He worked out for the Pelicans this weekend. Hasn't played since 2016-2017 when he spent the year with the Knicks. Now, people I think get him mixed up with a bunch of different kind of Eastern European players, but Sasha Vujacic is the one that isn't very good at all. He's not that good. Like, he never really was that great. The most points he's ever averaged in a season was 11 points per game. And don't you people in the YouTube comment section bring up to me that Joe Ingles averaged 11 points last year. Joe Ingles is already a way better player than Sasha Vujacic ever was. So I don't want to hear any Joe Ingles hate on this program. I won't have it. I will ban you from my comment section. I won't have it. But Sasha Vujacic is working out with the Pelicans. We'll see if he ends up with an NBA spot, though I doubt it. He's not very good at all.